This variety of yucca is often common name is Spanish dagger, or sometimes referred to as the banana leaf yucca. And this is the yucca that you would use to make sandals. It's much thicker, it's a little bit more hardy, it has a great deal of fiber on the interior that will keep the stickers and rocks from penetrating your foot. And it can be split rather easily, and it's kind of dangerous when you're harvesting this. So you always want to take from the base of this plant. So these leaves down in here would be the preferable leaves, because if you start to harvest from the center, you'll kill the plant. And every time you come here, you have to have a lot of respect, because this will really skewer you as you're harvesting. So I take from the base and I'll cut down here, and I've done enough sandals to where I can look at a leaf and tell you what shoe size this is. This grows a beautiful flower that is also edible, and the base of the stalk of this particular yucca is also edible and roasted. A lot of the Apaches will use this in their meals, but it has a lot of sugar. And growing next to this is the narrow leaf. The narrow leaf is what we would use to make the string or the ties for this sandal. So we're getting a good look at both types of yucca that are going to be used to create a Mogollon sandal, which is what I'm going to demonstrate today. Remember that when you take from a plant, you must always give. So we often will leave cornmeal or whatever we have, even a piece of chewing gum, and even sing to it would be giving to it as well. Okay, so we've selected our yucca leaves, and I've collected 6 beautiful leaves. So this is probably around maybe a woman's 7.5, size 8. And you see the fire behind me, and I'm going to go ahead and stir these coals. And what you want to do is you want to roast these on the fire. So I'm going to put these on the coals, and you're going to be able to smell the sugar actually cooking in this fire as these roast. It doesn't take very much, probably a turn. And I'll go ahead and pull one leaf, because the important thing about as this roasting process is going on, you can see this color change from this opaque to this more of a lime green. And I can feel the sugar inside the leaves start to cook as I'm turning these. And what I'm doing is, when you first see these, they're not very pliable. So what that means is they don't bend easy. But as they start to cook, you can see how rubbery they become. So I want to make sure that this lower half of this yucca, which has the most amount of cordage in it, or string, is really getting roasted really well. And you have to be careful not to singe the outer part. That makes it difficult during the weaving process. And they're already starting to get nice and flexible, which that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And you can see the color starting to change on the upper part of the leaf as well. So I'm going to test this one, and it's just where I want it. The pliability is great. I was at Sun Mountain doing a demonstration making a turkey feather blanket, and there was a ranger who was also working yucca, and he offered me the opportunity to plaid a sandal. And one of the goals of working with yucca for me was to actually make a sandal, which was something that an art that was lost. And I felt that as part of ancient lifeways, that it needed to be brought back out. So there was my opportunity. From then on, I fell in love with creating the sandals. And I still have much, much more to learn, because there are literally hundreds of styles of sandals that were created by the Pueblo people, depending on their terrain, lifestyle. So now I'm testing the pliability. It all looks great. So now that we have this complete, you can see that it has these curly edges on them. I need to remove all of these curly edges, because this is a dangerous part of this yucca. Here in the Southwest, our climate is so dry that textiles like sandals and basketry and loomed items, they retain enough for us to look at, and we can figure out how everything was constructed in those patterns. And some people even wove dog hair into the pattern so that it was distinct, that was their dog's fur. So they knew that was their sandal. Some of the more elaborate sandals that were woven, there's actually a 3D pattern. So you could, if that person left the village, they could track that human down and know which way he went and know who he was. They were a personal item. And I often wonder, you know, was there one person or a particular family that mainly dedicated themselves to making the shoes, or did everyone in the village know, you know, what they wanted or how they were making it? And you can see what I'm doing. I'm removing that spur that I talked about, because if this dries and if you were wearing this on your foot, it would be like a syringe going in to your foot, like a needle. It gets really hard. So I'm cleaning up at least 2 of these. And I probably make this look real simple, because I've done it so much that I've had classes where we'll have to go gather leaves all over again. So. And you notice I haven't taken the needle off, because that helps me weave. I want to split this leaf in 2 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and bend it and create like a grafted area that I'm going to run my knife through. So I've found my center and I've split it. And I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to split down. If this wasn't roasted, this would be very difficult. And I've got it completely equal halves. So I'm going to put these 2 to the side. Now I'm going to split another one. So I'm looking at the thickness of this leaf. So it tapers down to a more narrow upper part and a real thick base. So I want to make sure that I take this down. So I'm going to go ahead and start thinning this down so that when I start to weave, I'm not stuck with something that I'm going to have to work with at the end. And I'm leaving that tapered edge there, so that too will become a part, making it easier for me to weave. So now that we have everything nice and trimmed and nice and taken care of, I'm going to choose for the closest length. The first bend is simple. It's just in half. So make sure the edges match on the top. And you have 1/2, just like this. And I'm going to put this aside. The next part that will go into this has a different bend. And it's going to start to look kind of like a horseshoe. And I want to make sure that that's equal on the top. And I'm going to bend it so that it sort of looks, like I said, kind of like a horseshoe bend. So it'll look like this, and also on this side. So these two will go together just like that. You want to take this outer finger or outer leaf, and it's going to go under 1, over 2, and under 1. And the second leaf is going to go over 1, under 2, and over 1. The third leaf goes under 1, over 2, and under 1. The last leaf goes over 1, under 2, and over 1. So it looks kind of crazy right now. And that's perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling these together. And then we'll pull this and this, and then we'll pull we got to make sure we keep that horseshoe there. See how it's starting to come together? During some excavations, this was a common style, and it comes all the way up here into Santa Clara. And they start finding the Mogollon style here as well in the cave 8 structures. So it's kind of interesting to see this sandal again. This style would have been worn in a rocky terrain on limestone deposit. So it had to be thick. It had to be, you know, really super durable. And the ones you see that are woven were probably worn inside on the mud floors. Not so much because they wouldn't keep a sticker from stabbing your foot. So now you start to see this really cool front part of the shoe, which is the toe. Actually, your toes are going to sit right here. So now that I have it pretty much pulled together, at this point, I'm going to start plaiting. So that means I'm going to turn this way. This first leaf is going to bend like this. So I'm creating this nice smooth edge. And this one goes under 1, over 2. And that's as far as that one goes. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to bend this one and create an edge here. And this one's going to go under 1, over 2, and under 1. And there's that other edge. So I'm going to continue this process. So you can see it starting to taper down a little bit. Isn't that looking like a shoe already? We might need to start thinking about the heel about this point. So as you got a place for the toes, a place for the heel would be right in here. So that's when my weaving tools are going to come in, because I'm going to take this first leaf and I'm going to hide it. This is a woman's sewing kit. So this kit includes all the awls that I need to punch holes that I'm going to have to do that in a little bit. My weaving tool to get under the leaves. I've got a sewing kit that's made out of a deer antler. I've got a thimble to push needles through, a lock to hold the kit together, and inside I have needles. So I've selected two tools. My one that's going to go, this is a weaving tool, so I'm going to have to come underneath certain leaves, and that's what this is going to be used for. And this one is going to punch holes where I choose to put the straps on. So that's why it's a little bit pointier. And I want to hide this leaf. And the reason why I didn't take the tips off is because this becomes also its own needle. So I'm hiding this under this leaf and under another leaf. I'm going to pull it through again so that it has a lock. And now that's locked. And I'm going to leave that there. What you're also doing here too is you're creating a cushion for your heel. You're actually building that heel part, not so much in the toe area, but that heel. So when you look at the shoes in the museum, you notice that there's always a hole in the heel of those sandals, and that's what we're doing here. Is we're building that area up so that it's actually creating a reinforced heel area. The final thing, and you can see the shoe already. Look at that. I have what is called a percussion instrument. So this deer, this is actually an elk antler. So what I'm going to do is take this, and hopefully I'm going to hammer down the edges. And I'm going to take my knife, and I'm just going to cut these off. There's so much fiber in here. And that's what's protecting your foot, is all that fiber that's on the inside. This is going to become the strap for the lace. So we're going to go ahead and take this and we're going to measure it. So this will become the heel strap and the side straps for this particular style of sandal. I'm going to take these and place it under this loop, and I think this loop, and finalize here, and then tie the end. I'm going to raise this, and I'm going to stick this end that, like I said, don't take the sharp end off, because that becomes its own needle. And I'm going to pull that through to the point where I decided was halfway in my heel strap. And I'm going to go ahead and take this. So now you can see how the heel strap has been incorporated. We're going to keep coming in to the shoe through here. And this is why I said to leave that wedge on that, because this has the needle on the end, but you have to create that wedge in there so that you can work this yucca leaf. And there's the other loop. We talked about this pointy awl, and I'm going to go ahead and put a hole right here. And because you roasted this, it makes the life a lot easier. This is the yucca narrow leaf compared to this leaf. The finer fiber is in the narrow leaf. And the really heavy fiber would have to be pulverized out of this leaf to extract the fiber. So with this one, it's just boiled, and the extraction is much easier. So this will become the lace for this shoe. I take the yucca and I'm going to hold it. This is one leaf. I'm going to pull it just like that. So now I have a start for my yucca. I'm going to start by rolling the cordage under the palm of my hand and just rolling it. These two have to be rolled at the same time. And I'm applying enough pressure to where I can feel it's tight, and then you'll start to see it twine itself. So this would be 2-ply. And I'm going to roll it forward again. This is drafting, so you can see it as I pulled it here, here, here. So I'm lengthening the piece I want to work with. There's another one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 drafts on this. And I'm going to add it to this piece here. Backwards, and then we go forward again. And you can hear it start to weave into itself. This toe strap, we will do separate from the lace that's going to hold the shoe. So again, we'll draft. I call that here tearing. Did you hear it tear? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pull that, maybe one more draft out here. There. Down. You don't want to make that one too robust, not like the upper one we just made. So it's a little bit thinner. With a Pueblo sandal, see where I have my awl located. It's nowhere near like the big toe. You want to get this to where it is focused on the 2 toes next to the big toe. I'm going to push my cordage through here. So this foot is going to go in to the sandal like this, and then it's going to attach to the middle toes. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put one, I'm going to like kind of sew her foot onto the sandal like this, under this loop. What do you think, John? And then show him the bottom part, not that. Under, yeah. Put some blings on that. It's a cool technology.